We're here in the New York area in the United States, and our special guest is coming to us from the terrific city of Austin, Texas. Celebrated singer, songwriter, musician, Lurleen Ladd is here. Good to have you with us once again. You were with us for our Christmas special that we did, and that was
great.
Fantastic. Yeah, wasn't that a lot of fun?
It was.
We had such a great time, and it was such a blast to have you with us. So we're so honored to have you back because you have a lot of new things happening. You're a brilliant singer and songwriter and musician, and you have new music too, right?
We have some new music coming out this spring. In addition to that, since we last spoke, of course, the organization that I founded, Wavemakers, Women in Music, launched our grant, and that started, it opened in February. They had about 30 days to apply, and we had a huge response to the grant. We're really excited about that. Had over 50 women apply for the grant, and we have just notified our grantees, and we will make announcements at the end of the month as to who the winners are. Very honored and excited to work with these women. So the way the grant started was that it was $5,000 for 5 different female musicians in the Central Texas area. So Austin and in the general Central Texas, so counties adjacent to Travis County. And we read all these amazing applications, and these women have incredible stories, how music has, been the focus of their lives or been the lifeline really for so many of them. And so we went through all those applications and identified our grantees, and we're very excited to be working with these women over the next 5 to 6 months. Most often they are putting out an EP or completing an album, CD of music that is not currently out yet, and we're basically helping to fund the production of that music.
That is truly amazing. Congratulations on that. And when you created this whole idea of Wavemakers, what was your vision and your mission? What did you hope to bring to the table that maybe didn't exist before? Because I know it's really near and dear to your heart.
It is. I mean, I was a person that came a little bit late to music, so I was really almost 40 when I started, and it was a very difficult path. There wasn't a guidebook, there wasn't a map of how to go about it, and I felt pretty isolated, and I thought perhaps that was just my specific experience at the time. And then in the process of working with these women in Wavemakers, and we actually have them complete a survey before they did the application to give us their take, their experience of the music industry. And the most interesting thing is that in spite of 50 different women from 50 different walks of life, that one thread was consistent. And that was, there was a sense of isolation, a lack of community. And I mean, Austin's not a big town. And still, that sense of not knowing who to turn to, who to ask, how to, guidance, professional guidance. And so really Wavemakers came out of my own need for this exact thing, which is someone who will take the time to answer questions, shine the light on the path, and primarily in the industry, which wouldn't surprise you or anybody listening, is that for women over 40, it's really difficult to get the attention of the industry because they're sort of like, oh, you're 40, you're over 40, move on. And frankly, that makes me mad. So when I get mad, I want to make change. I want to make things change. So
you get lad mad.
I do. My husband will attest to that. Yeah. So really, the way this organization came together was for me to find women who were just like me. And that's what happened. And as we all sat and talked about, how do we go about this? How do we connect these women? The more we talked, the more we came to grips with the fact that the current model of the music industry is just broken. And that's people inside this industry understand that, but perhaps lay people that are like, well, Beyonce's doing okay, and that Taylor Swift tour was pretty incredible. Yes, sort of like for that very top 1%, it's functioning. But for musicians, sort of day-to-day musicians, gigging musicians, and women in this category, it is broken. When I tell people that if you wrote a song and it goes out onto Spotify and it plays 150,000 times, even 150 to 300,000, that represents about $150 paid to the artist. That is not a model that is sustainable to anybody. And so Wavemakers is definitely about building community, but we are looking for a different model to support female musicians 40 plus. And that means, in some ways, we're going to go around the existing model. I'm not interested in sort of climbing inside and trying to tweak this so that it functions better. I don't think that's actually doable. I think we have to, as this group of women, as this movement of women, to find a way to sustainably support each other. And so while I don't have all the answers, I'm the first one to say it, I don't have all the answers here. I do know that when I talk to women like me, there's something there. They feel compelled to act, they want to help. And so, you know, life teaches you that when you have a point of view that seems to resonate, it's good to stop and pay attention. It's telling me that I need to keep going in this direction, and that if I keep surrounding myself with smart, gifted women and allies, good things will happen. And that's pretty much where we've come to this point. Really great people here in Austin and even beyond our live music capital of the world are showing a distinct interest in this. They want to get involved. If we were doing all this to simply have coffee with each other, let's get all these women together and we'll have coffee and it'll be, we'll have a great time. There would be satisfaction in that. But if there were not economic opportunities that were being created, my heart wouldn't be fully in it. So in addition to building community of female musicians 40 plus, we are all about locating brands that want to connect with the incredible content created by these women, to help those brands connect with their female consumer. It's well documented that women 40 plus in the United States, at least, are the primary decision makers when it comes to making purchase decisions. So as a purchasing demographic, as a desired demographic to a brand, we want to help connect our artists to those brands that care and see the women differently.
It's really amazing, too, your own personal journey, because you found your calling in music, Lurleen, after establishing a whole solid career in social work and healthcare. And the journey to bring music to the center of your life has been challenging, but very rewarding, too. And your strong connection to your audience is channeled through your experiences, helping those in need while addressing your own personal struggles as well. And your music, as a result of all of that, radiates compelling energy and intense honesty that really categorizes your unique songwriting style, inspiring what you're talking about now, resilience and inner strength in your audience. And the music really does reflect some of the folks that you've always enjoyed, very accessible pop and R&B vibes coming from people like Carole King and Lennox and Adele. Tell us about that, how the transition from social work and healthcare into music and blossoming into music as you have so beautifully, how that came about.
Well, I didn't set out really to start writing music. It just sort of occurred. And I now that I've talked to some more women, I realize there's often sort of this departure point. You're sort of doing one thing. And part of that is because when my children were small, my husband was in medical school and life was exceedingly full. And once he finished his education and we returned back to Austin, I think things got a little bit more open. And as is often the case, when there's an opening, there's a chance for that creativity to come forward. And I just hadn't had a minute up until that point. But when it arrived, I literally woke up and was like, I'm going to start writing these songs. And I'd written 3 songs. Now, I don't advise this as a path, but I wrote 3 songs and went into a studio and recorded them. And when we were just even getting ready to record these songs, we showed up at a rehearsal and I was terrified. they looked at me like, okay, go, okay, now sing the song. And I wanted to die. I was so afraid, but got through that bit of recording. And then I went to Nashville with my little CD with 3 songs on it to a songwriters conference, and got good feedback, which was really nice during the day. And then they took us to a bar and they said, okay, that's it, get up there. And now you're going to go sing. And I told them absolutely not. And that guy that was leading it said, you will absolutely get on stage and do that. And I can close my eyes and I can see those lights. I can see the kind of the smoke in the room. And I sang the first song. And then that gentleman called out from the audience and he said, you didn't suck, do another one. So that was my indoctrination, at least into performance. And that it was a shock to the system. While I was completely competent in a business setting to stand up there and talk to just about anybody and go through, as a social worker, leading people through difficult situations, to be on stage and to perform was a whole other set of skills. And that was a real challenge for me. I had a significant amount of stage fright that had to be conquered. And that took years for me to kind of get to the other side of it. I spent a lot of time in the early go in a studio, which was a very nice, cozy, safe place to write, record, and learn. To go through the process of writing, hearing it back, seeing, and you kind of learn. That muscle grows and grows as you go along. So that part took a while, and even as I did that, I didn't really say anything to anybody. I didn't want them to think that I was like, I'd lost my mind. Like all of a sudden now she's a singer and a songwriter. And then tomorrow she's going to say she's an astronaut and a ballerina. I spent way too much time worrying about what other people think. And I would gladly cop to that because it burns energy instead of sort of standing up and saying, look, this is what I do and this makes me happy and I'd love to share it with you. I got real worried about that. And I think I also wanted everything to be perfect. You know how well that goes. If everything must be perfect, it's very challenging to be a learner. It's very challenging to be a learner when you're overly critical. We always talk about comparison is the thief of joy, right? Absolutely true. These folks in this room have heard me say this often, that the sort of as you learn a new skill and you come into something, because I always encourage people, like if you find out that music is your thing, I don't care how old you are, I encourage you to jump in. But when you're acquiring new skills and going through something like that, like a big skill acquisition, and you're learning all these things, it's really easy to beat yourself up. And there's a great quote from Bill Withers that I keep in mind, which is that nobody gets to wonderful without passing through all right. And the kindness to yourself is to embrace when you're at the all right stage, and stay inspired to keep going and learning. That's part of the journey. So that was certainly a struggle for me, but I've learned that lesson because I've had to keep it front and center for a while. I do think that from those other walks of life, healthcare, social work, it certainly impacted the way I write and how I feel about what I do. But all those lessons from the business world, they still apply in music industry. Great communication, meeting deadlines, working well with others. They're not gone. None of those lessons were lost. I just brought them into a different time in my life and a different industry.
Well, when you were a kid, were you musically inclined? Was there music in the house? How did the musicality develop?
My mother said that she would come into my room in my crib and I was singing there. And I did take piano lessons. A lot of us were forced to take piano lessons that don't necessarily make the jump to being professional musicians. But the one thing I did do is I was a dancer. And so I danced from 2 to about 12 and did everything. So tap, jazz, ballet, baton, all those things. So I do think it informs, our sensibilities maybe on timing, all those things kind of congeal. But I also think we're all students of music because it's everywhere. It's on television. It's in everything that we do. So in some ways, it's reaching us all the time. And I count all of that. But I mean, certainly playing the piano was something, dancing also. But I was not a theater kid. You know, if maybe you were a theater kid, Jim, but I wasn't the person who was
I'm
like,
a TV kid.
Yeah, let me on stage. That wasn't me.
Right. Yeah, I'm more the television, radio, the studios. I love studios. Get me into a TV studio or a radio studio. Stages I like. Yeah, I've done a lot of, hosting, emceeing and stage work and stuff. But just something about the equipment and just the studio atmosphere. I love a good TV or radio studio.
Very homey. Well, I had a radio show. My husband and I did a medical call-in show for 8 years here in Austin. And that was a very helpful experience. And when I talk about sort of letting go of some of the perfectionistic things that kind of interfere with enjoying the music side, being on the radio was so helpful because when we first started, we had somebody on air with us to help us kind of relax. Neither my husband and I were, radio people. And the gentleman that was on with us was talking about something and he tripped up on his words and he sort of fumbled. And then he just kept going. And I remembered thinking, oh my gosh, he made a mistake on air. What will happen now? And you know what? Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Kept going. And it was a great lesson. That was like.
Shows that he's human, right?
Yeah. Keep going,
and that's what I've been in many situations like that on the air live where a lot of things have gone wrong in TV studios and radio studios and
yes,
on location and you're the one on, so you have to be able to patch things up and glue things together quickly. And sometimes, if it's something where it's obvious, where people have heard or they've seen it, sometimes you can't just gloss over as if nothing happened. What I like to do is find the levity in it,
right.
Find the humor. And wow, did I just say that? And that's how the word levity developed on this show, because I was saying the show, 5 years ago has a lot of light, love, and levity. And I said it too fast. And I said levity has a lot of light, levity, combining love and levity together. Wasn't something that I had predicted and planned, but it slipped out. So instead of being a mistake, it was embraced by the viewers and everybody. And all of a sudden, I'm Mr. Levity. This is Levity Hall. They're the Levity Squad. All because I did combine two words and slip up in that way. I was the only one who would have thought I slipped up, but sometimes you take that and you run with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Probably being on air and on the radio in that moment, it's like you do have to be so present, like in the moment. You can't, if you start getting too far ahead of yourself, that's no good. And if you're looking over your shoulder about what was just said, that's not it either. So it was probably really helpful for me to have to do that for an hour every Sunday morning of just show up and be in the flow of that moment. There's a lot of grace in that. And
you have to allow yourself to do it, right? There's a lot of professionally trained actors and actresses who, when they go on live television and they have to say something to camera or radio, whatever it is, because they don't have a script, because everything isn't perfectly rehearsed, what do I do? I don't understand it, because they're used to being somebody else. They're used to taking on a role as somebody else. Now you have to be you. And so to me, I've always loved that. People say, you've played roles on TV and film and different things. What's your favorite role? I said, me, Jim Masters, because I'm on the air and this is me. And it becomes a natural thing to, if there's no script, like there's no script here, there's never a script here for even these shows. There's nothing planned. We just know the date, the time, and let's go at it, free flowing. I love that because it's exciting and anything can happen, and it's much more conversational, and I think and real. There are times when things are scripted and things are exact, especially like if you're doing the news or something, which I've done. But for these kinds of things, it's if you're on the air and you're being yourself, it's the best. And it may seem scary in the beginning, but over time it becomes natural. And when those things go wrong, things happen, somebody falls ill, the co-host doesn't show up, whatever happens, and you have to step up and make
Okay.
magic. I love those moments. It's happened to me many, many times over the years on television and radio and on stage. And those are some of my favorite. I try to do everything I can to avoid them and not have them happen to the best of my ability. But sometimes you got a lot of stuff going on around you and you can't like control all of that. So when that happens, that's when you step up and you make your, I call it TV magic, radio magic, stage magic, music magic, whatever it is.
Well, we did a big Christmas show at the end of last year, and I was up there about ready to sing a song, and actually they did the intro to the song, and I had this lovely little outfit on that had actually gone to the tailor for alterations. And as the song started, I sort of brought my arms closer to myself, and somehow or another, the tailor had lost a straight pin inside of what I was wearing. And when I brought my arm back, it poked right into my arm, and I completely missed the cue. And now that's when it really helps to be surrounded by pros, because they were playing not just live, but with stems, which means we all have to start at the same time, like 1, 2, 3, or it can kind of be a train wreck. And thankfully, again, when you surround yourself with really competent people, when something like that happens, they adjust. And so the audience never knew that I got jabbed right before I started singing. But yeah, no, I missed the cue for sure, because all of a sudden I was getting poked pretty hard in my arm. I didn't know what was going on, but we salvaged it. So.
You know, when you build a village of talented people who are around you and they believe in your mission, and in this case in your music and your vision and wanting to connect and inspire and lift up, when you find those people who are right there with you and who get what it is you hope to present, it is a golden scenario. How are you able to find and build that team, that village of like minds who are there to support, to play, to enjoy, and revel in and celebrate what it is you want to share with the world?
Well, I sort of unwittingly along the way, I have sort of collected people that I trust, really, really trust to help my journey. And they're the first ones that I lean on as we open this up to other women. But the sort of the core team of Wavemakers, I have an amazing artist that's been in the Austin area for 20 years. Her name is Wendy Colonna. And her heart has been in this place before she and I connected. She was already a coach for artists, like a business coach for musicians, helping them to establish, good marketing practices, a strong niche to an audience that they can create and pitch their music to. She's been invaluable. I have an excellent lawyer. I have to tell you, if you're going to have a going concern, you need a great lawyer. And it comes from the licensing side and media side, which has been invaluable to us. And then some community leaders, again, women that have been advocating for the arts in our city or directly advocating for women. It's sort of as if strands of this have been in the works or on people's minds. And sort of when Wavemakers came together, it brought all of these people who had a vested interest in this part of it and that part of it to come together and realize that as we worked with one another, that we can really move faster. That has been very helpful, as well as I have an amazing CEO coach that I work with, James Warwick, who's amazing. And he tried to explain to me, he said, you're not standing up trying to convince anybody of anything. When you're talking about Wavemakers and you're talking about these women over 40 in the music industry, it's something people already understand. I'm just highlighting it. I'm not convincing somebody of something or selling some idea. And that has been very true as I've had conversations with artists and with fans. This is something they know because as a woman, women over 40, there is this sort of sense of, if you reach a certain age that you're done growing or learning or being being dynamic. It's a false sense, a false belief, but it's out there. And so collectively, when I speak to women, they know that. And they don't have to be a musician to know that. That's not even really about the music industry. That's just sort of what it means to be a woman at this time. So I hope that when I'm on stage or here with you and some woman is watching me, that I am showing her it's okay to be seen, it's okay to show up, be loud if you want to be loud, sing that song, whatever that is. I truly hope that while the mission for Wavemakers is about supporting these artists, I do believe the bigger message is that women watching any of us on stage, any woman, knows that she is supposed to show up in her own life, have a voice, a point of view, make waves. You know, some of the things that we're pushing, you know, they're going to make waves because we're unwilling to accept the status quo. And so when you do that, people get their feelings touched or ruffled, feeling, you know, waves are made, feathers are ruffled. I'm okay with that. I can withstand that. Somebody maybe disagreeing with me or feeling a little bit put out, I can withstand that. And so, okay, most of the women that are willing to stand beside me. That's what change does. You know, it makes some people uncomfortable.
You know who was a trailblazer early on? Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. She passed just a couple of years ago, but she was one of the early ones, and a music giant originally from Australia. I got a chance to meet her in college and do an interview for the school newspaper and chat with her. Helen Reddy.
Ah, I loved her.
Delta Dawn, I Am Woman, Hear Me Strong, right? She was one of the first to have music that sort of reflects that vibe that you're talking about. And she was really fantastic. Who are the folks that you look to who have inspired you along the way that maybe have set the stage for you, whether you've met them personally or not?
Well, I mean, you mentioned some of them. I mean, I love Annie Lennox, and I, you know, followed her career, obviously, when I was, you know, in high school and college. One of the things that her voice is incredible, but she, of course, was classically trained, I believe, on flute is where she started before she transitioned to the Eurythmics and beyond. But she is a woman who, you know, as her career has sort of morphed along, turned into an activist. That matters to me. Those are the women that take the talent that they have and the influence they have and try to, you know, make the world a better place. So an influence both at the musical and at the sort of social and political level, that matters. You know, it's funny you mentioned Helen Reddy, because I can remember, what was the song, like the circus came to town and frightened by the sound. What is that?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
That almost happened. But it's funny because I remember singing that song as a kid to my sister, and we were a bit competitive, and she was like, you know, I remember her saying, that sounds pretty good. You know, she was not one to give compliments, but I remember that song. Certainly Stevie Nicks, I loved all of Fleetwood Mac growing up. Strangely enough, my grandfather was a merchant marine, and he brought all these albums back to me as a child. And so he actually brought me all of these Nat King Cole records. And so I was probably 10 or 11 years old. I don't know if I was the only 10 or 11-year-old that was listening to Nat King Cole, but I just absolutely fell in love with his voice and
Ramblin' Rose.
Yes, all of it. Yeah,
the song, I just thought of it, the Helen Reddy song, You and Me Against the World.
That's what it was. Yes, correct. So like Nat King Cole, I really got a fondness for Patsy Cline. Now she was way before my time, but I liked her. I liked her music and her approach. And so a few years back, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I just said, hey, you know, I'm going to try and cover these songs. And so it was an undertaking. We did, I think, an 18-song set of Patsy Cline, which means, of course, I sang something like Crazy or Walking After Midnight, songs that, you know, are just in the zeitgeist and have, you know, made their way into my mind. But then there were all these songs that I've never once in my life heard, and so many lyrics and all of this. And so I did that show. And while I probably wouldn't have said she was a direct inspiration to me before, it was such an education learning to sing these songs. She was incredibly powerful. And if you watch any video of her singing, she looks like she could be filing her nails while she's belting these songs. So I loved being able to sort of zero in on her. And while I don't sing in that style when I'm, when it's my music or all the time, she taught me so many things, likely around breath control, honestly, because she had it in spades, that those lessons just sort of apply to singing well and, working through difficult parts of a melody. She's just a relentless teacher. And I go back to it every so often, which is fun. And I probably always will, because I just think she's just an incredible vocalist, and taken from us too soon. No telling what she would have done if she would have lived on beyond her untimely death. So, any vocalist that makes you, when you listen, turn that song on and you find yourself leaning in, like, oh, what is that? That's somebody. I do the same thing, and it's kind of a constant study. Like, how'd they do that? I want to learn how they did that.
Mm-hmm. That's what it actually is, right? And you keep learning and growing along the way. Since our chatting too, no going back. You've got this new music.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We really proud of that album, and that was, I think, we've done that with my second release before the Christmas album at 3. But this album, it was really me coming into my own, and sort of that combination of where I started and reaching a very comfortable place at that R&B and pop place. And I really felt very comfortable, like it was representative of what I was aiming for. We are working on some new music, which I'm excited about. Doing a little bit with some covers. I'm a big Van Morrison fan, and we're taking a different, unique approach to Into the Mystic. So I'll be excited to release that this spring.
That's exciting. How do you describe your music? Describe some of the vibe and some of the background pointing you in the direction of creating the music, but how do you describe your sound?
Sure. I love it when people ask this question, because I want to get better at answering it. It's sort of like when people are like, genre, like where do you fall? And so certainly pop and R&B, I say that's a good representation of sort of the vibe and feel. There's some great stories in there. I do love a happy love song, but I will tell you, I probably have some sad songs on there. My producer gives me a hard time every now and again, going, "Come on, Lurleen, where's the happy song?" And I think difficulties are often the thing that creates the tension that brings about the story of the song. It's not that I don't have happy moments, but I enjoy writing from perhaps on the darker side of that. I've had people, so some people are like, well, what is your voice like? And I very often people tell me that I sound like Natalie Merchant. I'll offer that up. You can decide for yourself if that's what you hear. But I take that as a compliment. I think she's an incredible artist in her own right as well. So yeah, it's certainly pop in as much as it is not neatly falling into, say, straight blues, which although I like to sing, is where that sweet spot where you feel like, that's what I was aiming for. That's how I wanted to sound. It's really kind of a nice in-between place between pop and R&B.
Singer, yes, fantastic. Songwriter. What inspires you to write the music?
To write the music? Well, I think, for me, and like many other songwriters, we're all trying to sort of process things that are happening in life. And for me, writing music is sort of a way to take something that is too big to digest all at once. The song itself comes out of kind of rethinking and trying to understand a difficulty or something that happened, and out of that comes that story. I enjoy writing stories just from the perspective of just simply to write in prose. So while it might not necessarily be autobiographical, it's still a story about a person that's confronting something, getting to the other side of that catharsis of release. We write music because we all, for one reason or another, are trying to heal something, process something. And when we do it well, you hear it, the fans hear it, and they connect to that. I think artists could do a better job of opening that door a little bit more so that the listener has something more to attach to than an audio file. Nothing wrong with an audio file, when you hit play, but there's something a little, like, sometimes I think that, like, oh, they want to let the mystery be. Like, let's not open it and dissect it all, and then we've sort of taken the magic out of it a little. But I think it's fair. I think it's a fair question. Like, what prompted you to write that? I think, even, we'll play a song in a little bit, but like No Going Back, I really drew on a sense of of being in a place where I'd crossed a threshold and really couldn't return and didn't want to return to something else. And while that was the beginning of the song, I remembered relationships probably where in that song it was sort of like being unwilling to be that bigger person in that moment, to sort of lay yourself out and to be vulnerable and ask someone to stay with you. And it's something so simple. Sometimes we just get in the way of a relationship being able to reach the next level because of our own issues. I always say our responsibility when it comes to interpersonal relationships is to keep our side of the street clean. And that means that's how you be a good partner. And in the early go of life, before you've learned a lot of lessons, sometimes you can't do that. And you trip yourself up. And things end because you couldn't see that clearly. And that is really the story of No Going Back.
That's so true. Speaking of no going back, did you want to share some music with us and our viewers? Everybody's saying hello. They're welcoming you, all of our viewers around the world. We say hello to everybody watching. It's great to have you with us. We're coming at you on this episode live here from the New York area, and where she is, good old Austin, Texas.
Yes. Well, I will happily play this song for you. I have an accompanist with me tonight, so we will.
Oh, that's great. All tuned up, ready to go. That's fantastic. What do you want to play?
I will sing No Going Back.
Cool. All right. Here she is, Lurleen Ladd, here on the Jim Masters Show live.
I knew I was wrong, but that didn't stop me, And though the moment was right, I let you walk right out of my life. Now I'm praying for time just to ease you off my mind. Won't be easy, no how. 'Cause I'm living in this house all alone, and I can't stand the sound. There's no going back for me now. No going back for me now. No second chances, no apologies, no going back for me now. With you in my life, I was waiting for the other shoe to fall. I couldn't believe in this love you laid at my feet, but I'm still holding on to hope. Is there any reason to be? You told me the way to keep you. I just had to ask you to stay, but I couldn't buy a stray. And there's no going back for me now. No going back for me now. No second chances, no apologies, no going back for me now. But if you could hear me now, hear me now, hear me now, then I'll say There's no looking back for me now. No looking back for me now. 'Cause you're with me now, and I can say love is here to stay. And baby, you're gonna stay. You're with me now, and I can say love is here to stay.
Really nice. Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Daddy, who's accompanying me. Thank you so much.
And
Amazing piano
the
player.
mystery accompanist over there.
Incredible.
That's fun.
He's
That's
my counterpart and does a great job. I rely on him.
Oh, that's
Very
fantastic. Everybody loving it. They're saying you have a sultry voice and they love the song and they love the feel and the vibe and the warmth of it. Did you want to do something else while you're there?
We can. We certainly can.
Yeah. You got everybody. Yeah.
Another one. This is Blue Over You.
And before that, people are asking about that big item behind you.
Oh, I'll step aside for a second.
They think it's a chair. What is that?
This is a replica of the Paris Opera House. And there's actually a little lady here with a guitar. I don't know if you can see her. And the very top, I think you can kind of see him. When I found this at a store, and at the very top, there's a gentleman, and he has a little leaf over the area in question. And the woman, when she sold it to me, tried to pull that off because she thought it was a defect. I said, I think you're going to, that's his modesty leaf. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. Anyway, it is a replica of the Paris Opera House, and this is what Napoleon built for Josephine. And if you've ever been there in person, it is a testament to his love for her. And when I was in Paris, I went, and I loved that place. Obviously I love Paris, everybody does. But I very much love having this little replica of the Paris Opera House in my house, on my piano.
On your piano. Did you see what you did there too? The woman was saying that she thought there was a defect and making it not perfect. And you said, no, actually, this is for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just really didn't want to see her pull that leaf off. It could have been a disaster.
It could have, the whole thing could have unraveled, right? Like dominoes. Exactly. Yeah, more music. That sounds great, Lurleen. You're sounding terrific. And thanks for that story about that item. People were asking, they thought maybe you have a chair behind you. It looks like a queen's chair or something, doesn't it?
Well, I might have one of those somewhere, but for right now.
Well, that's in the foyer.
Absolutely. That's where I make all my big decisions.
That's the big decisions. Exactly. So yeah, more music would be fantastic. Yeah.
We will have a little Blue Over You.
Very nice. Once again, Lurleen Ladd and friends.
And friends.
You said that you fell for me, helpless at my feet. But then you fell again for someone else. You fall so carelessly, and now I pay by the hour to have a shrink ask me, how am I coping? Am I still hoping that you're in love with me? I'll sing thunder and I'll cry out lightning. It's my a broken heart break down. But someday I'll see you and this all will have passed. Well, someday you'll be just someone I knew. Someday isn't soon. Blue over you is a state of mind, and blue over you I'm gonna stay for a while. I got a broken heart I didn't choose, and I'm feeling pain that I can't rush through. Blue over you, gonna stay for a while. Make a list and keep it with me of the times we fought and your words that hurt me. Make a list, it may sound crazy, but time's the only remedy. Oh, blue over you is a state of mind, and blue over you I'm gonna stay for a while. I got a broken heart I didn't choose, and I'm feeling pain and I can't rush through. Blue over you, gonna stay for a while. Blue over you, I'm gonna stay for a while. I'll stay for a while. Blue over you, I'll stay for a while.
Really nice, my friend. That is really nice. What inspires you? You know, when you sing, obviously you are all in because you just see it, you feel the vibe, it comes through loud and clear. Are you sort of transported to another place? And what's happening to you as you are singing? Because you really do feel like we're on the ride, we're on the journey with you.
Well, that's good. I very much want people to go along with me and to step out of their lives for a minute and come along and to trust me, to suspend their thoughts about whatever's going on and come with me on this little journey. So I love that you said that. That's very much what I want to hear. While I said that I did struggle with performance anxiety, it was such a push-pull because the longer I did it and the more I confronted that difficulty, I discovered that I am most myself when I am on stage, most myself when I'm singing. And I think I was waiting for someone to step up and say, okay, you're okay, now you can do it, now it's okay, and you're somehow qualified. And I think it was really me that had to decide, this makes me happy, and I have to own that. It really doesn't matter in some ways if it's pleasing. And yeah, that was a journey unto itself. But I am most myself and most happy doing exactly what I just shared with you. So it is its own gift and reward, and the reason I keep coming back to it. And I think the reason why so many artists and creatives and musicians come back, because it just feeds something that you almost can't get any other way. When I first started performing in Austin, after I came back from Nashville, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this show. And it was at night, and I was talking to my husband, and I was like, do you think I'm crazy for doing this? And he said, I don't think you have a choice. And that was, when the person that you're closest to in the whole world looks at you and says, you're doing this because it's inside of you and you have to follow that, that's a real gift to have the love and support of somebody like that. And I appreciate my husband for all those things, but it does, sometimes that outside perspective is quite helpful. It's just to say, this obviously really matters to you and you need to pursue that. So I hope that answers your question, but
It does. Yeah, no,
yeah,
it does. And to have, again, that continuing with that theme of the supportive people that really care and understand you and what you want the vibe to be, but also the message to be, the feeling. You don't want it to be just something that goes in one ear and out the other. You want people to really feel it and sort of adopt it into their own lives, right?
absolutely. One of the first times I was in a studio working on music, and the engineer was sitting and working on something, and I heard him singing, and he was singing my song because we were kind of working on it, and he was singing and harmonizing something, and it was such this moment. I was like, oh, look at that! Like, you picked that right up. It was a cool little moment. I had another time when I'd written a song and somebody, pulled me aside and said, "That's my life. What you wrote there, that," and those moments, every day isn't like that, but when somebody says, "Wow, that was really my point of view," or "That's how I felt at that time," those are like the bonus moments of all time, because we certainly, any writer putting it out there wants that to have that connection with someone else. And so I love those moments when they happen organically. It's a beautiful thing.
Sometimes you don't even know you're doing it for the love of it, and you're doing it for the craft and the art of it. And then all of a sudden you perform it, you get that message out there, no matter what it is. You're a painter, you're a sculptor, you're whatever you do. And then you get the feedback of the public at large, and they plug into it, they connect with it, they relate to it. Wow, like you said, wow, I thought you were writing that about my life, or wow, here's how I absorbed what you wrote, and sometimes, or what you performed, and sometimes it sort of blows you out of the water, right? You're, wow, I didn't think about that way, but that's true. That is some of the things that people say when they pour their heart out to you, appreciating your work and what you're doing and your sound can be incredibly magical, huh? And
It is.
surprising.
I like to read advice columns, because there are
Dear
recurrent themes.
Abby, or
Yeah,
remember Dear
there are
Abby?
recurrent themes of difficulties that people are encountering, and I often will kind of go through and read the advice column, and I'm like, oh, that's a song right there. That's a song, right there. It's just, and then I have a million notes on my phone of the beginnings of things, of songs and ideas, and I hear a little pithy comment, and I'm like, oh, that's the beginning of something. So, and that never stops. That part of my brain is always running.
That's the best way to look at it too. Would you like to also do music that is sung by others? And a lot of times when you're a songwriter, as much as you're the performer, sometimes when there's music like Dolly Parton, so many
Absolutely,
songs that she's written, others have sung, and they've become massive hits. And then,
absolutely.
of course, writing film score music and, film music. It's extraordinary, the opportunities. Are those things that you want to branch out to as well?
Absolutely. If you ask me what one of my dreams is to have a song that I wrote be in a movie that's like nominated for Academy Award. So, like, reaching for that gold ring, that brass ring, that's it. Like to think some of my music certainly has a cinematic quality. I would love that. That would be like the pinnacle of success for me. I am working on something really fun right now. So Habitat for Humanity, the incredible organization, international organization, of course, in Austin, they're celebrating their 40th anniversary in May, and that takes them back to the 80s. And so they would like me to perform a set of 80s music. And so we have sort of taken our kind of cool, funky R&B vibe, and we are reworking all kinds of 80s music. So Rich Girl from Hall & Oates, and Betty Davis Eyes, and Addicted to Love by Robert Palmer. And we kind of went through Billboard's top 100 songs of the 1980s and tried to pick a song from each decade. And so that has been fun, trying to turn those songs slightly to make them feel a little more current. And we're not a cover band, so I'm not trying to like replicate 80s dance music, but to sort of put our little spin and touch on them. That's been an interesting exercise. I'm excited to share that with the Habitat for Humanity's anniversary.
How cool is that to dip into a previous genre like that and sort of put a unique spin on these popular songs, huh?
Absolutely. It has been fun. And, most often there were a handful of women that we certainly are in this group, but a lot of times we're taking songs that were sung with a male lead, like Jesse's Girl from Rick Springfield, and then bringing a woman's voice to it and a woman's perspective, which, that's kind of the cool little spin. I haven't done a lot of changing of lyrics or gender in there. I'm driving, I'm coming through the way they had it. So I hope people get a chance to enjoy that. It's always fun. And more than anything, I get all of my musicians together and they love it because this was music they appreciated when they were in their 20s and teens. And so I love seeing them get excited because everybody's brain starts running about how to turn it a little bit. And that collaboration is also one of the best parts of being a musician is working with people that are like-minded, but different experiences and different genres. They come up with great ideas. It's that collaboration is just a blast.
That's the thing when you have an opportunity to work with other folks and sort of, just put those puzzle pieces together. It's magic that comes out of that oftentimes, right? And different ideas and unique perspectives.
Absolutely. And in Austin, because we are the live music capital of the world, that's our tagline. We have some incredible, what we call AAA musicians, and those are amazing musicians that are studio musicians. They also tour with big acts, and so they live here, and so kind of an embarrassment of riches to be able to draw on. And it's been wonderful, and part and parcel of why I've been able to do what I have done is because I have just been so fortunate to work with great folks behind me and in co-writing. So all of that really, if you're an ambitious person that wants to put all the pieces together, you need to be surrounded by great people. And I absolutely have had that here in Austin.
Tell us again, how can people learn about and get involved in Wavemakers, which is the other baby of yours?
Yes. So you can find us at wwimusic.com. And while we are, we like to say big things start in Austin, right? We're a little city, but we punch above our weight. So this organization starting here in Austin and helping to support women 40 plus in the music industry, we began here in Austin. The grant launched here in Austin, but we have moved forward, and I can show you when I come back on screen. We have launched our curated song list. I'm showing you, this is a lovely little coaster, but when you turn it over, there is a QR code. And when you click on that QR code, it takes you out to Spotify. And there is a set list. This particular set list is all music in the Austin area of women 40 plus. So we have a number of playlists that are running, but we have just opened this up worldwide. So any female artist over 40 can submit a song to the Wavemakers playlist. And if it is chosen for our playlist, we will obviously put it on the playlist. And then we do a little mini PR campaign to introduce the world to this woman and to her song. And so all we ask is for each woman that submits a song to be a member of Wavemakers. And this is my commitment to female musicians everywhere, that when you join Wavemakers, you don't pay dues, because if you've been at this business and over 40, you've already paid your dues. So it is free to be a member of Wavemakers. We ask two things. We ask that you join and that you fill out a survey. And that survey is, again, your opportunity to share with us your experience as a musician, your experience in your country, in your city, in your region of the world. So that those answers to those survey questions, they're just going to make us better at what we offer to help bridge the gaps where there are gaps. So easy to join, simple survey, and then you can submit songs for consideration on the playlist. And then if you're chosen, we do sort of give you a little PR push and try to promote your song and your music. And again, to connect your music to an audience, your music to a brand. And I'm really excited that it's open to any woman in the world. That to me is just incredible, right? We have our local launch here in scaling out from Austin, but really any female musician in the world over 40 can be a member, can submit a song, and connect with our organization.
How cool and special is that? And there again is the website to check it all out. And
Yes.
of course, there's Lurleen's website as well to learn more about everything she's doing. Do you have exciting things that are coming up that you're looking forward to as the year progresses?
Absolutely. So I will be releasing some new music this spring, and Wavemakers will be having some programming. Much of it will be online. So if somebody is in New York or, Norway, there's an opportunity to connect, and we will be building that community. And I'm very excited about our winners of the grantees. There supposed to be 5 for $5 and 25. Like we're songwriters, so it's all going to rhyme, right? But when push came to shove and we had to read all of these applications, we couldn't choose just 5. So we chose 6. And I'm excited to bring those women's stories to the fore and to help promote them. It really is gratifying to support them and give them a lift. It's going to be exciting watching them complete these projects. Again, most of them are EPs or like a collection of 4 or 5 songs. So if you follow Wavemakers, you'll be hearing lots of new music, which is exciting, from women who are incredibly gifted and talented. And I'm really excited about what the year will bring for that. And then we will cap the whole year off just like we did last year with a big holiday concert. Is always so much fun. Now, my band generally is, bass player, guitar, keys, and drums. But when it comes to Christmas, we have an entire horn section and some guest players, and it's so much fun. I absolutely love that concert. So we end the year on a high note with a big Christmas concert, and I would love to share some of that with you when the time comes.
That's fantastic. So still making the music, still inspiring, still empowering, and still celebrating and living life to the fullest. Lurleen Ladd joining us here. Once again, you may remember she was with us on our terrific Jim Master Show Epic celebrity-filled holiday special, and she sang some music, holiday music, and then we all sang holiday carols together, which was a lot of fun, trying to get all those guests together on the same key at the same time. Sometimes it's an effort, but all with the fabulous holiday spirit. Really terrific having an opportunity to catch up with you, Lurleen, and really appreciate your wanting to come back on the show to celebrate life, music, inspiration, and of course, all the incredible things that you're doing with the music and Wavemakers as well. And come see us again. Continue to spread the word about the Jim Master Show series. We love that. And as I mentioned the last time, the porch light is on and open for you. You're welcome back truly anytime. And I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you. It always goes by fast.
It does. Thank you so much, Jim. I really appreciate it. And helping to spread the message about Wavemakers is, again, from my heart to yours. Thank you so much. And I hope to come back and give you some more updates. And we'll be following your terrific show all the way along.
Thank you very much. You spread that word. And I've been to Austin. I was on a PBS conference, actually, at one of the great hotels there. And we got a chance to explore the city. And we went on a couple of those streets where all of the clubs and the bars, the doors are wide open and all the music is pouring out. And as you walk down the street, there's all different music and vibes and places and just so much going on. Austin is really a growing place for music, right? Sort of rivaling Nashville.
Absolutely. We'll come back and we'll do some more fun. We'll take you to some live shows. We'll have a blast. Come back to Austin. Happy to get you into some Wavemakers concerts. Get
some good Southern barbecue too.
Absolutely. No doubt. Just some barbecue and some great Tex-Mex. There's no shortage of restaurants in this town.
No, there is not in Austin for sure. My friend, always a pleasure. Come back and see us again. Spread the word about the show. We'll continue to tell everybody about you. Congratulations on everything. I know you're doing it from your heart and soul, and that's the best place for it to originate from. Thanks to the rest of the team behind the scenes there. We appreciate their efforts to help make the magic as well. And hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you. It was great.
Thank you so much, Jim. And I promise I will be in touch, sir.
Absolutely. You have your people call my people, which means we'll call each other.
Okay. Thank you to all of your viewers.
Absolutely. You be well, my friend. You take care. All right.
Will do. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Coming to us from Austin, Texas, Lurleen Ladd here on the show. She was a delight as always, and filling us with lots of great music. There's her website. Check it out. And for there it is too, Wavemakers, if you want to check that out as well. She talked about some really cool things that are happening with that, and a chance to have music submitted and all kinds of stuff that is really terrific. And that is her baby, Wavemakers. Really something special. How cool to have her here back on the show again. She was with us when we did our big holiday live special with all the celebrated guests and friends who joined us for our annual holiday Christmas show here on the Jim Masters Show. And she was really terrific then, and it was terrific once again. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give our episode a hearty thumbs up on the YouTube channel. We thank Lurleen for stopping by and sharing her inspiration and her terrific voice and her great music. Thanks for all the great comments, everybody that are in the chat room live. We appreciate all of you as well. Continue to support what we're doing here. This show has something for everybody, which is really cool. It's not niche. Sometimes we talk with child stars from television. Sometimes we talk with Broadway veterans. Sometimes we talk with famous actors and actresses and musicians. Sometimes we talk with authors and sports stars and psychics and chefs. This is like a traditional talk show series coming at you unscripted and free-flowing with a myriad of guests. We celebrate life together here on the Jim Masters Show. So literally, when you watch our series, when you go back and you binge watch the past episodes, there are so many different genres of guests, celebrity guests and friends that come on, not all just one theme. Life, all coming from different aspects and different places in life, celebrity levels, and so much more. So it's really cool to put these shows together. One more time, we thank Lurleen, and we thank all of you. If you'd like to thank us, give this episode a thumbs up. There is a thumbs up on the YouTube channel. Yeah, click the thumbs up. It really helps us reach more people when you do that. Share the episode on your social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Subscribe to that. And don't forget to leave a comment below. Interact with us as well. We love hearing from you. So leave a comment, and we really appreciate that. More great episodes coming up real quick. For those that are watching live, I want to let you know, boy, do we have an extraordinary, legendary guest joining us tomorrow. Look who we have. Unbelievable. David Sanchez is here. David, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, original E Street Band member. Yes, the E Street Band with Bruce Springsteen. He's one of the original Bruce Springsteen band members. You got it. And also a legendary multi-instrumentalist. He's got lots of new music coming out. He's going to be with us live tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Pacific. Mark those calendars. This is something really special, a rare exclusive conversation with David, again, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. And he's going to be with us tomorrow. Other guests that are coming up, stay tuned. We'll have Sandra Lee Gimpel here. She has been in everything. Legendary actress, stunt woman, stunt coordinator. Wait till you hear her stories. She was in the Poseidon Adventure, the Towering Inferno, just to name a few. She was Fembot on the Bionic Woman. It just goes on and on and on. I don't want to give it all away, but she has been for decades on television and film in so many extraordinary ways, in some of the most epic movies and television series. And she has some amazing things to share and show with us. This is an exclusive, rare event with Sandy joining us. Very, very, very revered Hollywood legendary stunt woman and actress. Again, she's been in Star Trek. She worked with William Shatner. You name it, she's been a part of it. And she was in the Jim Carrey movies as well. Bruce Almighty and The Truman Story. It's just the list of shows and movies that she's been a part of. Incredible. some 50 years worth, and she's going to be with us on the show. And then another incredible legend, now switching back to the music side of things, Ellis Hall from Tower of Power, that legendary group, the Ellis Hall Group, and so much more. An unbelievable conversation coming up, and music, and some special announcements as well that he's going to share with us. His mentor was Ray Charles, and Ray Charles was the one who really got him going. Ellis is a class act, and he really is brilliant. He's going to be with us on the show in a matter of just a few days as well. So keep checking our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, as well as our social media, Facebook, X, and Instagram at Jim Masters TV, to connect with us and say hi, but also to learn more about the upcoming shows. But tomorrow, again, what a guest we have. David is going to be here. Original E Street Band member, worked with Bruce Springsteen. He's worked with everybody. Peter Gabriel, Jeff Beck. He's worked with Sting. I mean, you name it. He's worked with them all. He's going to be here exclusively on JMS for all of you. Boy, do we have some really cool guests who stop by and who want to come on the Jim Masters Show series and spend some time with us, huh? From all different backgrounds, music, TV, film, you name it, stage, behind the scenes, on camera, whatever it is. So really, really good stuff. We love having all of you here. Thanks to everybody. Check out a couple of our regulars, Maureen and Sherry and Kathleen and Jane, and all greats that are here. Merlin is here as well, and everybody. And those of you who watch later in the archives, we appreciate you being with us as well. So thanks for being with us on this episode. Come see us again. Keep watch for all the great episodes coming up. When you do subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure that you click the notification bell. That way there you get alerts about all of our episodes, special events, and all kinds of amazing things that we have going on here at JMS for all of you. Don't forget to love one another, take care of one another. Don't forget to do the very same for yourself. Come see us again. I was recently in Indiana on a television news special feature assignment, and it was fantastic. And we were in Chicago as well, and then also in Florida. And that was really terrific. That's for some of my professional work. In Florida, we got a chance to go behind the scenes at a revolutionary and cutting edge cancer center and see the amazing work in cancer treatment and care that's happening. It was unreal. We got a personal tour of the entire facility with myself and the TV news crew. Really amazing. And that was one of the things we did in Florida. And then we flew off to Indiana for more television work, and in Chicago, some more great people we met as well. So that was some of my professional work separate from this series here. A lot of stuff we do when we're not doing JMS, all immersed in the world of connection with people and in the broadcast media world of TV and radio. Okay, gang, we love having you here. And thanks for all these great comments. And yes, let's take a look at one or two here. Merlin says, so enjoyed this conversation and the music. And you really enjoyed Lurleen. Absolutely. Wavemakers, thanks for returning to Lovely Hall. She was here during our Christmas show. And sounds like a great organization. It really is. And you enjoyed the show as well. Thank you. And everybody watching, thanks for all these great comments as well. And you're very, very welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure. Thanks, gang. Don't forget as well to leave a comment in the comment section below. This is the chat room chat, which we love. Leave a comment below. That helps the algorithm take this episode and fly it through the air so millions more can watch and enjoy what you're watching and enjoying as well. Gang, we'll see you soon. This is Jim Masters. All right. We love having you here. Be well. Come see us again here in Lovely Hall. It's always a pleasure. Wherever you're watching around the world, you're a part of our family, and we love knowing that. Take care and be well. Cheers.